In this video, we will be looking at how to assemble a recirculation system using our PreciGenome pressure controller and a rotary switching valve. To prepare the reservoirs, you will need PTFE tubing, flangeless fittings and ferrules, Tygon tubing, 2 reservoir kits, and some female Luer adapters. Start by taking out a reservoir kit. Note the ports on its adapter cap. Screw on a female Luer adapter to its sideways port. Connect the Tygon tubing to this adapter. This will later serve as our gas inlet. Now prepare your PTFE tubing. For this, we'll also need the flangeless fittings and ferrules. Cut a piece of PTFE tubing to your desired length. Slip on a flangeless fitting and ferrule. Ensure both of these have their narrow ends pointing inwards, and repeat for the other end of your tubing. Once you have prepared tubing for both reservoirs, it's time to integrate them into your setup. For a recirculation system, one of these should be filled with your desired fluid. Put the adapter cap on this reservoir. Now insert the PTFE tubing you've previously prepared. Leave a long section past the ferrule so it may protrude into the reservoir. Once the tubing is inside, simply tighten the flangeless fitting with your hands. Make sure the tubing can reach near the bottom to prevent air from going inside. Mount this full reservoir on your rotary valve. We'll now refer to it as Reservoir 1. Take out a female Luer adapter. Install it as previously shown. Now repeat this process for the empty reservoir. We'll call it Reservoir 2. Connect the Tygon tubing to both reservoirs. We recommend one hot and one cold color to easily distinguish them. We can now connect these reservoirs to the rotary valve with PTFE tubing. Start with Reservoir 1 and connect it to port 3. Next, connect Reservoir 2 to port 1. Now we'll need a bubble trap, and a flow sensor. First, take out the bubble trap. It should already be assembled. Also, take out a female Luer adapter. Connect this adapter to the bottom of the trap. This will make later connections easier. Next, connect the bubble trap to port 2, but don't mount it just yet. Now take out the flow sensor. Note the orientation of its plus and minus ends. Connect the minus end to the bubble trap. Mount both devices to the rotary valve. To connect the chip, we'll need a chip holder, mini Luer Tygon tubing, and a male Luer adapter. The latter, however, is just our example, as chip connectivity varies by model. Connect the plus end of the flow sensor to some PTFE tubing. This will serve as the chip inlet. Take out the chip and chip holder. Mount the chip using the holder's clips. The mini Luer tubing goes straight into this chip, but a male Luer adapter is needed to connect it back to the PTFE tubing. Assemble this tubing and connect to either end of the chip. Repeat this process for the other end of the chip. Ensure both ends are part of the same channel. Connect the chip outlet tubing to port 4 of the rotary valve. Finally, connect ports 5 and 6 on the rotary valve to each other. Before we connect our setup to the pressure controller, we'll need some tube filters to prevent fluid from entering the controller. Install these filters on the Tygon tubing. Connect Reservoir 1 to the top channel of any source. In this example, we picked channel 3 on source 2. Also connect Reservoir 2 to the bottom channel of the same source. Here, that would be channel 4 on source 2. Our pressure controller has a built-in pump, but you may also use an external one. In that case, use its vacuum channel. Connect some Tygon tubing to the vacuum channel without an adapter. Connect its other end to the bottom of the bubble trap. This uses the female Luer adapter that we installed earlier. Now connect the pump power to the back of the pump. It will not be connected to the pressure controller. Now we can connect the flow sensor to the pressure controller. Take out its power cable and note the ends. The female end goes to the flow sensor, and the male to the pressure controller. If using an external pressure source, you may connect it to the rear of the pressure controller. Next, connect the pressure controller power cable. Finally, connect the rotary valve to the pressure controller with this 4-pin port. Congratulations! You've successfully assembled a recirculation system.